Hello folks, well I'm going to move on to this set because we have spent, that's royal we, a lot of time yesterday on another customer's Maxcom 30E, and I just can't have so many sets in for repair and be spending days and days on one particular set, so we're going to skip that and get through a few other repairs. There's no grass growing around the Maxcom 30E. Same customer as the Roto 230 we showed last. So we've got Tom's Binatone 5-star here, which looks absolutely beautiful, and no doubt will perform 5-star. I'll tell you what, we'll open it up. I think he bought it. I don't think it's one he's owned from new. I think he bought it relatively recently, and it's supposed to work. But I just need to open it up to make sure there's no shenanigans before we actually do some tests. Just sent a mic in, he's sent a power lead in. And you get the bigger speaker. Yeah, that looks normal. I can't see anything looking messed about with there. I'm all twazzled around here. Right, we'll get straight into it. I've got 30 minutes before I have to go and do shopping for a lady who used to attend church. She's 94. And the trouble when you're dealing with people who are elderly, you have to be spot on time. You can't think, oh, I'm going to go and do whatever today. If you take on these jobs, I see a Tuesday and Thursday, it has to be exactly the right time. The only time I will ever alter her time is when I've got a funeral to play the organ for, because she'll understand that. Right, we'll switch picture-in-picture on and switch the radio on. All I've got to do is now find all the knobs, haven't I? RF gain to full, mic gain to full, 0, external, high. Let's get rid of PA. Testing 1 2. And does it vary on there? 1 2 1 2 1 2. It does. Well, that is something we can tick off. Good. Now, why can't I hear anything coming out of it? Don't know. Can now. Before we'll start, we may as well just do the VCA because that doesn't affect the figures which we're going to write down. So I'll get that to channel 40. It'd be nice if nothing needed adjusting. So we should have 4 volts on receive. So we'll just drop that slightly. We should have 4 volts on transmit. We've got 4.4. going to let it be at 4.2. And just check on channel 1 that it's somewhere where it's supposed to be. So on receive 2.18, so it's supposed to be between 1.8 and 2.3, and on transmit it's supposed to be between 1.8 and 2.4, which it is, so that's fine. So that was no problem at all, so marginal it didn't really need adjusting. The last thing you want is it not doing above channel 37 in cold weather or something like that. Alright, transmit looked pretty loud. So we're on the 3 watt scale. Let's go to channel 20. And have a look. It's doing 2.65 watts. Let's go to the channels. Channel 40 doing 2.5, and channel 1 is doing 2.65. 2.5 watts, 2.65 watts. Back to channel 20, and on low power it's doing 5 milliwatts and drawing 325 milliamps. Back to high power, doing 1.174. 1.174. Frequency. Now I've only recently switched on the test set, so we'll take this with a pinch of salt. Oh, it's so off frequency. It's nearly between channels, it's so bad. It's non-working, not that bad. It's probably going to be a duff crystal, so we'll see if we can pull that up. Yeah, I've got a duff crystal there. Right. So it's gone from a retune and test to a repair. I bet this sounded great. So much for my half-hour quick job. Now we've been sent some crystals, second-hand crystals, from 2 different viewers. No doubt off scrap AM sets. There's possibility, I can't speak, there's a possibility they could work. The best thing to do is to get this crystal out. Right, so we put a crystal in which has come from a viewer. It says Uniden on it. It's now there, and let's see what that says. 2779126. Going to let that cool down. So that isn't going to cost the customer anything because it's being gifted from a viewer. So it's reference crystal FOC. So that benefits him. So we'll go through the tune-up, especially if we put it in, and then I'm going to have to go and do that shopping job. Wrong camera, right camera, there. See if we can get more than 3 watts out of it. So that was already at correct peak. I mean, these sets are supposed to do at least 3.8 watts. That one was out of alignment with 2.7. So we're down to these. We go over to the scale, so we're on the 30 watt scale. These have to be peaked pretty rapidly. No, it's not. It's not having it. Make sure these haven't been messed with. Right, I've changed the driver transistor. It's had the output transistor and the driver transistor changed before. I managed to find the right type on a scrap chassis, and we look to be a bit nearer 4 watts. So I'd like it to do 3.8. Yeah, 4.2. 6.6. It helps if it has the right transistor in it. So now we're going to take the yellow one clockwise to 4.4 watts. And then we're going to take the green one anti-clockwise. The manual says for 4 watts, but, sorry, for 3.8 watts, but you're entitled to 4, so 4 we'll set it to. Now it's supposed to be within 0.1 at the band extremes. So on channel 40 we have 4.05 watts, and on channel 1 we have 4 watts. That's an improvement, folks. So it should be 2314, 2SC 2314, and it was a 2SC 1459, and the gain on this is 96. The gain on the one which I put in is 108. So there we go. That's got him out of that quagmire. I'll clean up the board because it's not being cleaned up from the previous repair either. So now we've got transmit current if we're on channel 20. We've now got transmit current of 1.37, and let's look at the meter. That bangs across. So we'll adjust that for 4 watts. Remember, these are only relative into a dummy load. If you put it on an aerial, it could read high, low. It's still giving 4 watts, but it's relative to your SWR. So that's that one. Low power. Let's see if that's doing anything more. It is doing something more. It's now doing 50 milliwatts. It's probably got a dirty preset, so I'll just spray that first, waggle it around a bit. Yeah, that's what. There we go. 400 milliwatts, and we'll just get this set on frequency. Now everything's warmed up and the crystal's cooled down from being soldered. 79129. There we go. So it's 2SC2314. And the frequency 2778. I can't remember. I don't know. It's 2779125. That's now 400 milliwatts. That was reading 5 plus. It's now reading 4. The meter lamp works. The sockets work, and we're just going to do the deviation and it will disappear. So we'll see whether my machine's playing up today. Voila. Well, it reads spot on 2.5 as a peak. It's as if it's absolutely spot on. But having said that, the AGC preset's in the wrong position. Wow, it's still reading 2.3 peak. We'll just go over to the test set behind me, just in case this one's lying. Wow. Just needs to come up a little tiny bit, just like it said on my Marconi test set. So it is working right today. Wow. Turn that off, save some electricity. And check it now on the Marconi test section of the meter. Wow. It's about there. Right, I'll see you in a bit. It was 2.3 and it's now 2.2 to 2.5. Right, I'm back from the shopping. So we'll move forwards with this radio, see what it's doing on receive, check it's still on frequency. Oh, it's fine. Right, so on 2779125 on the signal generator. The oscilloscope and the Cybernet meter. Tell you what, we'll do it. We'll get the readings first. We'll go to the Cybernet meter. I won't know whether we've fixed it worse. Bearing in mind the radio's on frequency, and of course it wouldn't have received before because it was stuck really between channels. So that's 1 microvolt. It's spot on 4 mic. I think we could say that's 4. Look at that yourself. 5, 4, 3. It's like, you could say it was 3.95, but we'll put 4. So that's 0.4. So for 10 dB. .34 for 20 dB. Very good actually, 0.74 on that one. Squelch, let's turn it to full. 3, 10, 30, 100. That's exactly how it should be. Put the attenuator on. So 30, 100. And on minimum squelch, put the signal generator to standby at 0.3 of a microvolt, set squelch on the radio. I did check the RF gain was up, but I'm going to check again. Yes, they are. And what's that? Oh, it's the dimmer. Signal generator back on. So it's 0.53. So it's 100 microvolts and 0.53. I don't think that's going to need any adjusting. With the signal generator on 100 microvolts, what does the meter read? And the reader, well, it's pretty close. It is 98. That's very, very close. We've already checked those, Right, see what... Hopefully we'll get a bit better sensitivity. It's already beyond what the manufacturer says it will do, but I know that we've had better. Just put sufficient volume on to get a decent trace on the oscilloscope rather than mess around with the oscilloscope controls. And we'll start with the detector. Absolutely spot on as it was. So now we'll move up to the cyanide meter. Get that to about 4 dB. Just override the squelch there. And once again we're trying to make that needle move to the left. And then we back off the signal generator so we're not saturating the signal into the radio. Well, that was out, wasn't it? Back off the signal generator. Have to change scales and back off the signal generator. That's spot on. Put a bigger signal on now for the intermediate frequency, the IF. You get the extra receive circuit on this model, but you don't get the extra receive circuit you get on the base station. And then there's one hiding under the wiring harness down here. So only one was out, and it was that one there. Funny that, I often get that. So we'll get a new reading. .23 microvolts. 0.2 microvolts, and 0.46 microvolts. Just check the squelch is still how it should be. Squelch to full. No, it's now activating at 30 microvolts. So that's now correct, but because we've altered the receiver, it was right and it's going to be right again. You can see what happens there. So we'll now check the threshold, putting the signal generator back to standby, set threshold on the radio, 0.72. S9 now, which will have altered. It's absolutely spot on. S9 is spot on. Would be that preset, but we're not touching it. I tell you what, it's another 5-star Binatone 5-star. This, it's doing the transmit, it's doing the receive, it's bob on frequency. Wow, they're consistently good, these. But imagine what this was like. So far a frequency, it was virtually between the channels. So, turned from junk into a beautiful set. It's 40 years old. Oh, I wanted to clean the back of this board. So I'm going to do that right now, and then I'll come back to it in half an hour. I did a bit of soldering around there as well. So it's had its driver transistor and output transistor changed before, and it was a bit messy. See no reason not to put the lid on. He's going to be really chuffed with this. So apart from the Maxcom 30E, we've got the two from our mystery benefactor Alan, which are actually in for repair. I say we'll have to send them back via an intermediary so he doesn't reveal who he is, which is fine. And I mean, we know he's in mid to north Lincolnshire. And one of those is a 77805 emergency set, but it's just the set on its own. It hasn't come with any accessories. Because what we're going to do with the emergency sets, we're going to do that double range test again. We're going to do double on the air test, where we do an on the air test followed by an immediate field test. So it'll be on the bench on our aerial doing the usual 6 miles, and then I want to send Chippie straight back out with the radio on its own aerial, and we'll talk to it from our base station. And if you remember, we've got 4 miles receive on the Maxcom 7E the other day, and 6 miles transmit. I think one of the weakest links in the chain is the quality of the coaxial cable on those magnetic aerials. So I know we've got a ZX1 kicking around, and I know we've got another Midland 77810 of our own kicking around, one that's had batteries glued to it. I bought 3 of those in that batch. So I'm going to leave that off. What's the other one from Alan? I'm trying to think what it is. When I come back, I'm going to come back with the customer's mic and I'll look at Alan's box of tricks. See you in a bit. Right, we're back with this to finish off. So, customer's microphone. Best thing here is to put it to CB, from CB to PA. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. That's fine. We'll switch it to CB with that mic. Make sure the deviation is what we kind of expect. Testing 1 2, wallow. 1 2 1 2. Are we off tune? 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2, wallow, wallow. 2 there. Try it with our original. Wallow. Yeah, they're both the same, so that's fine. So we'll be doing the test with our standard replacement mic, and then right at the end we'll move on to his microphone, just for comparison purposes. Right, the other set from Alan is a York 861. So we've got a swine of a Maxcom 30, which I've put on the back burner. So his mic is okay. I've lost my pen now. And the speaker in this set sounds fine. Good. Well, that's made a really nice set. Let's put it on the aerial. Take the extension speaker out, take the PA speaker out. Turn the test gear off, save some electricity. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we've got to switch to internal, haven't we? One niner Roger. How's we're on low power? Not on low power. 1 niner Roger. Feels a little. It's the knob more than anything else.
Good telling, I've got a minute round on my shelf. I found my hair cut, I just thought, yeah, good idea, cut your hair, Keith, so number 2 all over.
Somebody called Keith. And he's having a number 2 all over. Oh, nice to actually hear somebody on it. I wonder when it last heard somebody properly. There we go. I better get my t-shirt and just get the fingerprints off that. And considering it's 40 years old, it's still got the advertising flash on it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.